Okay, take two. I have now eaten. I'm a little sleepy because I had the food, and food makes me tired. But I did say that we were going to continue this after dinner, and I was going to keep that promise. So we're going to continue on with our lovely journey of trying to write this man's backstory. And hopefully I can stay awake. I'll definitely need some help from chat later to help keeping me energized and the sorts. But while I still wait for my audience to come back, like, oh my gosh. That was so inconvenient. That was such an inconvenient time to be like, hey, we're having dinner now. It was like, ugh. Because, like, I had also already ate. That was the other thing. I had already ate food because I ate before I started the stream. So I wasn't even hungry. I mean, I guess, like, I could eat more food, which is what I end up doing. But I was just like, I didn't realize this was happening today. I guess I should have figured this was happening today, but I didn't know it was happening today. Uh, well, it is what it is, I guess. But let's go ahead and get back over to Patton. Sometimes I forget that on stream my browser has been stretched. It's so funny looking. I forgot about that. Everything just looks slightly wrong. uh, okay, so we were just talking about Humphrey making it to the Feywild, where he met a pixie named Rula, who, as you know, is our neutral evil non-binary Feywild visitor. So that is a good question though, actually. What is neutral evil? What does that really mean? Because I know what evil means, but I don't really know what neutral evil means, you know? Like, what is considered neutral evil? A neutral evil villain does whatever she can to get away with. She's out for herself, pure and simple. She sheds no tears. I don't know why this example is a female. I mean, I guess it could be. Yeah. She sheds no tears for those she kills, whether for profit, sport, or convenience. She has no love and order. Okay. Um, the one who have the most freedom to do whatever they want or do at a given time. Uh, okay. Okay, so like the like pinnacle of selfishness. Okay. 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 I see. I see. This is a very interesting thing. So also, something that we could bring up is that apparently pixies are typically neutral good people. So I wanted to put it to a little bit of a vote slash discussion on what we think about changing the pixies alignment to better fit the pixie race, which is neutral good, or keeping the alignment that we rolled and just having to deal with that. Because none of there's just is this a pixie that Patton ran into. This pixie repeatedly um visits Patton in his dreams and also gives him fairy dust. Like that's what we established is that this like Patton's like fairy companion like gives him fairy dust and talks to him in his dreams. So, do we want that to still be the neutral evil character that perhaps Patton believes is good or is looking out for him? Or do we want it to actually make it a neutral good character? What are we thinking? I'll let you think on that for a moment while I look at this. So, Uh, so here's also the thing. For a lot of this summary, so far actually, in this entire summary of Patton's backstory, I have been using the name Humphrey because that was his first name. One of the rules, one of the rules for Feywild rules. What makes more sense for a fairy to help Patton out? The neutral good would make more sense for and this is a pixie, not a fairy. Those are two different things. They are very similar, but they're two different things. Um but if the easiest choice is that a neutral good character would see Patton and try to help him out. A neutral evil character would probably help Patton out for some alternative motive that whatever somehow Patton serves the pixie. It also doesn't help about some of the Feywild rules, which I wrote down somewhere, so let me pull that. I said fairy because I don't know how to spell pixie. It's well, you are close. It's it's pixie. There's no Y. You spell pixely is what you kind of spelt. Actually, let me just yeah, it's pixie. So uh, let me find those. Is it under D&D or is it under fan fiction? It's under fan fiction. Okay. Notes. I need you to sync up with my phone, please. There we go. Why are we raiding? Why do you need the raid message? I just started. We're not even we're not even 15 minutes in. We're not leaving. Okay. You're not going anywhere. Okay, so oh, you just wanted to test it out? Alright, so the Feywild rules. Uh Time between the Feywild and the Prime, like Prime reality plane, whatever it's called, uh, works differently. When you leave, it might be that weeks or years have passed, or no time has passed at all. Non-Fey creatures might lose their memories of their time in the Feywild once they exit. Magic is stronger in the Feywild. Arcane spells tend to be amplified in power or duration when cast in the Feywild, and other times would manifest in entirely unexpected ways. It is believed that the barrier between the Feywild and Toril, whatever, like the prime plane or whatever, was especially weak on Chess 19 on the calendar of Harpatos. This occasion is celebrated as a holiday Fey Day in the region city of Waterdeep. The most common means of traveling in and out of the Feywild was through a Fey crossroad, which often required special knowledge of how to pass between the planes. Other rules is that you never say thank you to them. This phrase is taken as you are indebted to them. Instead, say I'm grateful, etc. Never accept a gift from a fae, or or rather, one should be very careful with any gift that they are given if the giver is a fae. If a person doesn't trust the fae who gives them the gift, it is best to destroy it never gives as a strange new fae never gives gifts without expecting something. And never ever verbally say thank you for a gift. It is implied that the receiver owns them something, like a food or firstborn or a favor, no matter how deranged. Welcome back! gosh, welcome back, PCM. We're going over the rules of the Feywild, because um I don't know if I got to talking about it, but Patton spends a good 20 years in the Feywild, and so I need to know a little bit more about the Feywild to kind of better understand what might have happened to Patton while he was there, and what kind of traits Patton might have picked up during his time in the Feywild. So we're just going over the rules that I found on the internet. Um, Never lie to a Fae. The Fae hate liars that are not other Fae. Always keep your word when dealing with a Fae. The Fae hate cheats or those who cannot keep their word other than other Fae. The Fae hate dirty water. In some place, one should never dump dirty water outside without warning any Fae, visible or otherwise, to move first. This could save your life or just save you from mischief. Never brag about your interactions that you may have had with them. A good example is with the brownie. The Fae like privacy and secrets. If you can't honor either of those, you are likely to be targeted with bad interactions with them that may endanger your life or mightily inconvenience you. Never give them your name, full or otherwise. Anyone who knows of the something or other or elven naming ritual knows that names are powerful seals and hold power, especially to the Fae. If a Fae asks for a humanoid's name and they say it, they're giving them power and possibly partial control over them. The best thing to do in this situation is to give the fairy a made up name or a nickname. However, if the humanoid knows their name and says it, they could possibly bind the Fae in service to them, or make the Fae leave them alone. Never accept food or drinks that they give you. Eating Fae food or drink, which is normally enchanted, will do one or both of two things. First, assuming that the person is in the realm of the Fae, it's Praga, then eating their food or drink will bind the person to that world and force them to stay there. Second, eating their food will make a humanoid no longer hunger for human food, which means that the person will both starve unless they have taken care of by a Fae and never be able to return to a normal life. The Fae hate iron. Don't carry iron on you unless you want them to avoid you. Never stand at a fairy ring. Fairy rings are the rings of mushrooms that sometimes grow where a tree has died, and they are also portals that highly powerful Fae have created to the realm of Chigurh, so standing in them is rather stupid idea. Even if a person is not teleported, they could get stuck in the ring, and time moves much slower there. Centuries could pass outside while seconds pass inside. And if a person is transported to Gloa, they could be treated as their guest, or they could become their prisoner. Once someone eats a Fae's food, they'll never be able to leave. In the worst, properly best case scenario, they will be outright kill you for stepping in the ring. Never be rude to a Fae, otherwise, always be respectful and polite. Being hostile and selfish are frowned upon in the among the Fae. It is critical to meet their standards while in their presence. Punishments, especially in Kura, are not doing so range from being for not doing so range from being pricked with a sharp weapons for spying to being given 7 years of lameness for laziness to drowning in a bog for being a bully. One must be polite when dealing with the Fae at all times, with one exception. See rule number 1. Honey can save your life. All the Fae love honey. If you find yourself in trouble with a Fae, they may let you off the hook if you offer them some. So those are the rules of the Feywild. I thought time was slower in the Feywild. It was in my case. So it depends. So basically, what it's saying is that the time rule basically said that when you enter the Feywild, time time in the Feywild would be slower. So when you get back out of the Feywild, you might have like come out like years in the like quote future, like, or if you're lucky, you'll come out around the same time that you entered. So, it's a hit or miss. It's a little flexible, but it's typically that the Feywild time difference is that the Feywild is slower than the I don't know what to call it. The the prime plane, the mortal plane. I don't know what to call it. But so that's how that is. So these are the rules, right, of the Feywild. And based off of these rules, we have to decide what type of rules Patton uh could have broken. I think one of the first rules he breaks is that he tells people his name. I think he told someone that his name was Murphy, and then he basically lost that name. I read um I read about like what does it really mean if a fae takes your name, which basically kind of just boils down to it was a little unclear. Typically it's not stated that uh in the quote unquote fae steal your name, that they don't actually steal it or that you're no longer able to use it. Some people might go that route if they feel like it. I don't think I'm going to. Um, but it definitely means that Patton had probably is being owned by a fae, and the fae that he could be owned by could be Rula. Like Rula could own Patton, like which could mean very bad things if Rula is kept as a neutral evil character, because that just means Rula has a minion. But as we just were talking about, pixies, the alignment of pixies are neutral good creatures. So the what happened was I rolled on a chart, on an alignment chart, to see what was the alignment the of the person before looking up that pixies are actually neutral good. So I was trying to put it to a vote on if we switch the alignment to neutral good or if we keep the neutral evil alignment. So that was the question. Also, also PCM. Uh, one over here is actually a character in this universe now as a flea. It's a little hard to explain, but it started off with one saying that he was a flea, and then Patton just having a pet flea, and then we ended up naming the flea Thomas Thomason. That's his name now. So that's it's pretty funny. Or at least I think it's funny. But yeah, so I think Patton definitely failed, especially at the beginning, the don't say your name, don't give your name to the Fae. I think he failed that one. Some of these other rules about like not saying, I think I think because of how long Patton stayed in the Feywild, I don't think Patton says thank you when he gets things. I want to maybe I can add that to his like character flaw. Uh After spending 20 years in the Feywild, Patton has come a custom to not saying thank you, and thus sometimes comes off as rude or ungrateful. It's like super unintentional, but if you like spent your entire life being like, I can't say thank you to things, it's like um, then I think like even if he accepts a gift, because obviously once he's in the mortal plane, he's not surrounded by Fae anymore, so he can accept things. But I don't think he would have a habit of saying thank you anymore because of how much trouble that gets him in. So he's like, so you just hand him like a potato, and he's just like, cool. Uh, so there's another rule about it said, yeah, I think I think Rula has some power over Patton from from giving giving them because Rula is non-binary, right? Yeah, non-binary. Giving Rula the his name, accepting pixie dust. Uh, I think Patton broke enough rooms where Rula basically owns Patton. I don't think I can really get around that. Uh, um, Patton already doesn't lie, so that's not. I don't think he had really worried about that one. Oh, did I miss one? Don't spy on them or capture their likeness without their permission. This is considered highly rude, even taboo to the Fae, and they hate it. Okay, so here's the one that I'm a little concerned about. Never accepting food or drink from a Fae, or more, uh, eating Fae food. I think that one's a little hard. First assume that the person is in the realm of the Fae, because keep it as is. You want to keep it as neutral evil. That's not gonna bite Patton in the butt at all. Oh boy. So here's the thing about the Fae food. It says that if you eat Fae food, then that person that person's bind to the world and is forced to stay there. So if Patton had ever ate Fae food during the 20 years that he was there, he would not be able to leave. And also, apparently, eating their food will make the humanoid no longer hunger for human food. I have a question though. What is Fae food? Google Fae food. What do the Fae eat? A lot of sweets. True. I'm thinking of the story plot down the line, but we can wait on it more until we get to the second opinion. Okay, that's what do Fae eat and drink? Uh, okay, that's I should probably clarify D&D. But it seems that the idea is that they eat sweets. They eat like sweets and fruits. Uh, Fae being chaotic creatures delight in constant and paradox. They enjoy taking things that no one should be able to take, like your shadow, your memories. Okay, so that's what Fae wants. I'm not getting I'm not getting a like proper answer about, but I'm going to assume that they eat like fruits and vegetables. They're herbivores, so they're not eating meat. So like that and like sweet things. But so if Patton had like ever once eaten one of their foods, then he's trapped in the Feywild forever. So I guess he had to never had eaten any other food. Now Patton does have access to Goodberry, the spell Goodberry, which states that you infuse your magic into a berry, and then by eating one berry, you've basically sustained yourself for one day. So, by that logic, he could have kept himself from eating Fey food by just repeatedly only eating his own magical berries. This man hasn't had any actual food for the past 20 years. Um, Patton doesn't have any iron because he's a druid. He probably was able to stay out of any rings. And Patton is the opposite of rude. And I don't know, maybe he kept honey on him. So okay. So I think the only two rules that Patton broke would be giving out his name and accepting gifts from the Fae. Is the only two I can think that Patton broke. So let's see what we can write for him. While in the Feywild, Humphrey met a pixie named Rula. After introducing himself, oh, he unknowingly gave Rula power over himself. Ugh. And so far, unless there's any objections, so far it seems that Rula is a neutral evil character who probably made Patton do a lot of bad stuff. I'm just trying to think about it. I'm trying to think about in third edition they're always neutral good. Alignment neutral. So in the first and second edition of D&D, they were considered neutral. In third edition, they were always neutral good. And then in fourth edition, they became unaligned. And then in fifth edition, they became neutral good again. I think for the sake of Patton's sanity, I'm going to make it neutral good. As interesting of a concept it might be, I think it might be more trouble than it's worth So I think I'm going to go ahead and make ruler the neutral good. Not to say that Rula still doesn't have power over Patton, because they do. Um, but it's at least a little less um nefarious. It can still be mischievous. Fae are very mischievous creatures. So it's not to say that Rula has a heart of gold or anything, but uh, they're not evil. After choosing himself, he unknowingly gave Rula power over him. Rula took Humphrey under their wing, pun intended, and showed Humphrey the ropes. First rule being that Humphrey could no longer. I feel like I was going to talk about something. I don't know. It also kind of seemed like you were going to talk about something and then you forgot. It happens to me all the time. Could no longer use his name because Rula now owned it. Use his name because. So, Humphrey picked the nickname Patton after Rula mispronounce mispronounced Paxson. Okay, so we've now established that Humphrey's name is now Patton. We finally hit that part of his backstory. That's why his name is Patton, is because he accidentally gave the first Fae he met his name, and now Rula owns his name, and they don't let him use his name anymore, so no one else can have it. And so now his name is Patton. Um, which is because Rula mispronounced Paxton, and he and Patton was just like, "All right, okay." So we finally got to that far. Also, by the way, the gift that yeah, you were doing character stuff. I want to know about your character. What are you making? But Patton has a magical item because I'm giving all of these characters a magical item. Like just nothing too big, just like either a common or a non-common magical item. Uh this creature is your character? Is that like is that like an angel? What is that? Oh, horrifying creature? Is that like a biblically accurate angel? Is that what that is? Ow. Anyway, so oh, she's an Asimar. We'll be making an Asimar later. Okay, I should probably clarify what is happening here. So, so I now have to back up and actually explain what this entire thing is. Yeah, she has too many eyes. So, so here, so here's the thing. Um, I am a fan of a person called Thomas Sanders who made a series called Sandersides, which is on YouTube for free. Uh, and the series itself is not important right now, so I'm not going to go into it. But it's a series. I really like it. I write a lot. I write a lot of fan fiction for that series. One of the ideas that I had was taking the characters and putting them in a D&D setting. And I came up with this plot about like these two Asimar brothers from different kingdoms, and they're at war, and they have to figure out why they're at war in the first place, and yada yada. There was a whole thing. And then, and I made it, like I made the characters, and I like vaguely thought about the start of the plot, and then I kind of bookshelved it for a while. And I read a I read a Tumblr blog that also took the same characters and put them in a D&D setting, and it's really good. Um and I got inspired again to go looking back at my series, and I realized that the first draft of the characters that I made were pretty boring. Like, it was very typical, and I was just like, I think I could do better. And so doing better. So this is the first character that I have been doing a draft 2 of. Um which is why his name is Patton. His name is Patton because that is the character that I associated that I've been um redesigning. So Patton from the Sanderside series is being adapted into this series, and he became a furbog. Um, and I had to figure out how to get his name to be Patton again, and that's how his name became Patton. Uh, his name actually does mean Humphrey Paxton actually does mean things. Um, let me figure out where did I write it. Oh, already here. So Humphrey means giant and peace, and Paxton means peaceful town. So basically, Patton's name means that he's a peaceful giant. Is what his name means, because Patton is a pacifist. And we and when we were looking for names, we came across Humphrey, and one and No No were like, yes, that is the perfect name. His name is now Humphrey. And I'm like, all right, cool. So his name is Humphrey. And then I gave him a last name of Paxton because it meant peaceful town. And Paxton was close enough to Patton. And now with this whole deal with the Fae and losing his name, I have bullshitted my way into making his name be Patton. I had done it. After we finish with Patton, I have another character that we're doing, which is Logan, which I'm very excited about doing. I've been thinking about him for a few days now. Uh, Also, yes, you can share your character if you want. So now you're getting caught up. We're making a bunch of characters for a series that does not exist. um, I don't remember why I even started talking about this. Why did I start talking about this? I don't know. Oh, I'll be making an ASMR later. One of the characters, Roman, is a. Actually, I'll be making two Asimars. Roman and Remus are Asimars. So, but they're two different types of Asimars. It's a little complicated, especially Remus. Remus is the most complicated one. But we'll get to him. We'll get to him. You don't need to know anything about the Sanderside series to understand what's going on here, because I've basically kind of threw everything out the window and have made my own shit. The only, the only thing that these two Pattons are um share in common is that they're both allergic to cats. They're both cinnamon rolls that spill out dad jokes. Yeah, I did realize that she is a lot more energetic than Astamars usually are. Usually they blend in a lot more to human society than a person with like six pairs of eyes. Also, I can show you what this pattern looks like because I'm also obsessed with making miniatures. And so I designed what this character looked like in Hero Forge, which is a great site, by the way. If you are ever like struggling with making character designs, you won't be able to make that character in Hero Forge because you can't put that many eyes on you can't put that many eyes onto a model, sadly. So it won't work for that, but it tends to work very well for whatever I'm making. Oh, you're a hero forger as well? Yeah. I have here, let me just I have a lot of figurines. I have a lot of them. 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 There we go, we hit the end. Where's the one I'm looking for? Okay, here he is. Oh no, you got hit with ads. The dreaded ad break. Sit back and hear the story of each and every one of them. No, we don't have time for that. We do not have time to get into the origins. We'll be here for hours. That's not what this is not what this is about. Not everything has to be about origins. Uh, I'll have to wait. You cannot hear. Oh, I'm sorry. Subscribe with Prime so you don't get ads. uh, look at my man. Look at him though. Isn't he great? You're free! Huzzah! So this is Humphrey. This is what he looks like. He's got his little tail. I like his tail. I like making them look a little bit like a cow. I gave him the biggest snosh. Look at that snosh. I gave him the biggest nose. I mean, I guess it's not that big, but I gave him a big nose. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I could I actually give him a different color of his nose because I can show you my character Hero Forge, but her art is overall better because, you know, eyes. Yeah. Yeah, sure. If you're in my Discord, you can post it there. What was I looking for? What am I doing? Oh, I was looking up I was looking up fan art uh for Bog. Yeah, yeah, they should have a red nose. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing a red nose. Look at their noses. Their noses should be red. His nose should be red. He should have a red nose like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's what I'm missing. I forgot about that. Oh, I can make the tips of his ears red too. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I have to fix this. This needs to be fixed. How do I fix this? Give me give me a design that covers his nose. I just want to color his nose. I just want to color his nose. This is not sidetracked. This is still on topic. We're still dealing with Humphrey. I'm This is not sidetracked. This is just updating character models. Yeah. I can give him freckles. It's not a Patton if he doesn't have freaking freckles. It's not a Patton if he doesn't have freckles. What color should I make his freckles? I think the plum works. Yeah, that's a good one. Um, the cat nose markings. That kind of works. I'll have it there for. Yes, the dragon fruit.